All right, Clemson Nation, I wanted to make a video previewing spring practice and talk about the 5 players that I'm most excited about and ready to see during spring practice in the spring game. I'm going to admit, I was very disappointed in last season's performance. I'm obviously super thrilled that we were able to win the ACC again, but losing 3 games, the way that we lost them, was just unacceptable. And honestly, we played bad in so many of our wins. Losing at home to South Carolina was devastating. I'm not going to lie. It took me a couple of days to get over it. But honestly, I was able to rationalize it in my head. I mean, truly, the difference in that game was quarterback. If you gave Clemson Spencer Rattler and you gave South Carolina DJ, that game wouldn't have been close. Clemson probably wins that game by 30 or more. And so I don't think South Carolina's passed us, although they certainly think they have. I still believe that there's still a significant gap between the two programs. And I think we're going to see that next year. I think Clemson's going to win, take back over this rivalry. This is our state, always will be our state. But I'll admit, Shane Beamer definitely has them trending up. And I think they're really going to become a good program under him. He's not Will Muschamp. I think he's doing a really good job, and he's going to continue to do a really good job. But the Tennessee game, that was really bad for me. After that, it definitely felt like Clemson was collapsing. I mean, it felt like that to me, at least. And then Dabo surprised me and all of Clemson Nation, the entire country, by firing Brandon Streeter and replacing him with Garrett Riley, who's arguably the best young offensive mind in college football. The narrative was that Dabo's unwilling to change. He's stubborn. He made all these bad hires promoting guys from within when Clemson struggled in 2021. But Dabo recognized his mistakes. Brandon Streeter just wasn't ready for that job. In over his head. He's not an elite offensive mind. Credit to Dabo for going in and getting probably the best offensive coordinator available. That got me super hyped. I'm so hyped about Clemson football moving forward. I've got my orange-colored glasses on, and honestly, they have me believing that we can make it back to the playoffs, and honestly, we can win the whole thing. UGA, we're coming for you. You're not going 3 straight. Y'all downgraded offensive coordinator while we upgraded. Clemson's back. We're back. I truly believe that with Garrett Riley as offensive coordinator. So now that my confidence is back, I really wanted to talk about the players that I'm most excited to see this spring. And honestly, I had to think a lot about it. I didn't want to name any of the early enrollees, although I do believe guys like Peter Woods and TJ Parker are probably going to see significant playing time this year, guys that will probably need to win. I didn't want to pick any of the early enrollees. I wanted to focus on the guys who have been on the team for at least a year. And I'm going to go in reverse order. So at number 5, we're going to have TJ Dudley. Linebacker depth is a major, major concern for us. Our starting 3, Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Wade Woodaz, that's an elite starting 3. Not many teams have a starting 3 as good as that. That is one of the best linebacker cores in the entire country. Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., these are future first-round draft picks. No way they get past the second. However, after them, there's 0 experience behind them. Now, Dudley, why I'm so excited, he was a highly rated 4-star prospect that we signed late in the cycle after Venables left for Oklahoma. He has great size. I mean, the guy looks the part when he steps off the bus. He's got really good athleticism to play against modern offenses today that force you to play in space. But I'm excited about him simply because we're just going to need him this year. Carter and Trotter Jr., they can't play every snap at inside linebacker. In Clemson, we lost Vontae Bentley. We lost Keith McGuire. And that's pretty much forcing Dudley to have to come in and step in and be that next man up in that 2 deep at linebacker. And so he simply has to be ready to contribute at a high level. Because of that, I add him to this list. He's number 5, TJ Dudley. Really looking forward to seeing him this spring. At number 4, we have Cole Turner. And man, didn't this kid flash against North Carolina and Tennessee. Dabo raved about him all fall camp, and he even raved about him during the season. He's going to be this next big-time great wide receiver. Now, Cole is a lot like his older brother, Nolan. A kid pretty much had no offers until Clemson offered them late. Nolan eventually turned out to be a pretty good football player for us, although both of them were seen as guys that Dabo offered as like a sympathy thing for their dad who passed away, Dabo being good friends with him. And though that may have been the case back then, Nolan definitely turned around to be a good player. He's on the practice squad, at least for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So to be in the NFL, that's impressive. I don't think Clemson fans thought that was going to happen, a kid with no offers being on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, he made some big plays for us in big-time games, and I believe Cole's that same type of player that his brother was. He hasn't really played football that long. I think he just started playing his junior year in high school, so his learning curve was massive when he got to Clemson. But the kid has all the tools. When you watched him flash last year, he's very athletic, coming from a basketball background. I can remember that play where he jumps over the DB at Tennessee to get that ball, outruns the North Carolina DB. I mean, this kid can really, really, really run. Love the speed that this kid possesses. He's going to be one of the top 4 wide receivers this year, no doubt about it. He's got to improve the little intricacies of the receiver under Tyler Grisham, who did play in the NFL. So hopefully we see a massive improvement. I think we're going to need him to win games this year. He's got to make a huge leap from year 1 to year 2. The talent is there. Can't wait to see how much he's improved this spring. At number 3, we have Cade Denhoff. Like Dudley, he was a highly rated guy. And he's been buried in the depth chart behind guys like Myles Murphy, KJ Henry, Xavier Thomas, Justin Maskell. But 2 of those guys are off to the NFL now. Denhoff needs to be ready for us. He's in year 3 now, so he should be developed physically, mentally. And given XC's injury history, you know, we never know what's going to happen. We might have to rely on him to be a starter this year, but we're definitely going to need to rely on him to play winning snaps for us. Depth is just so thin at defensive end. Like linebacker, there's virtually no experienced depth behind our starters. And so there's not a lot of experience. Denhoff is a guy that has to be ready to play, highly rated guy. We need him to win for us. And honestly, I believe he needs to solidify himself as that number 3 defensive end that's going to sub for XT and sub for Maskell. His development this spring is so important. Just like linebackers, modern offenses force defenses rotate a lot of guys. We got to rotate our defensive ends. And so we really need our backup defensive ends to be ready. We've been blessed to have depth, 4 players that can really play winning football over the last couple of years. We're going to need that at a Denhoff this year. We need him to be a guy that we can win with. I definitely think he's super important to the success of this defense and overall the team itself. At number 2, Tristan Lay, another guy in his 3rd year, like Denhoff. The difference, this kid was a former 5-star recruit, one of the highest rated offensive linemen we have ever signed. I mean, this is his year. Jordan McFadden's off the NFL, and he's the only offensive lineman that we lost. We returned 4 other starters. My hope is that Lay takes over for McFadden and becomes a dominant left tackle like McFadden was, like Jackson Carman was, or even like a Mitch Hyatt. We need him to become one of those guys. How many 5-stars offensive linemen have we ever signed in general? The talent is clearly there. I really want him to live up to the hype. We really need him this year. He's got all the tools to be great. I'm rooting for him. This is his year. Also, if he does start, you're looking at the largest offensive line that I can honestly remember. Lay, Tate, Putnam, Parks, Miller. I don't think we've ever had an offensive line that big. You're talking about 5 guys that are 320. You know, I believe the other 4 guys are going to make huge strides next year. You know, Tate, unlimited potential, size, athleticism, all that. 3rd year as a starter. Then you have Putnam. He'll be in his 2nd year at center. Parks will be in his 2nd year at guard. And then Blake Miller coming on a freshman All-American campaign, year 2 at right tackle. If Lay can live up to the recruiting hype, this offensive line could be special. It could honestly be the best offensive line we've ever had under Dabo. And finally, the number 1 guy that I'm most excited about this spring, Randall. It's probably too much of a hyperbole to say that the success of this offense hinges on this one guy, but I truly believe that it does. I believe Cade is going to make significant strides in year 2, especially under Riley. In my opinion, Shipley and Moff are one of the best running back duos in the entire country. Personally, I love Jake Brennan-Stoll. I love what he brings to the table. Great tight end weapon. I can't wait to see how we use him this year. I think he's going to have a huge year for us. I just mentioned that I think the offensive line, this could be one of the best offensive line we've had under Dabo. But our receivers leave something to be desired. Everyone knows, especially Clemson fans, that we have fallen off at this position the last few years. Now, we have two guys that are really nice, Bo Collins and Antonio Williams. I like them, both good players. However, I don't view them as that number one guy. I think they're going to get better with Cade at QB. I think they're going to get better with Riley's offense. But I still don't think this is the number one guy. I don't think they are Nuke Hopkins. I don't think they're Mike Williams. I don't think they're Sammy Watkins. I don't think they're T. Higgins. But Adam Randall is that guy. The potential is crazy. He is a freak athlete. Massive, massive dude. Unbelievable speed for his size. And the coaches have talked him up like he's going to be that next great wide receiver at Clemson. And honestly, I really hope they're right. But I just didn't see that last year. Honestly, I can't even recall anything that Adam Randall did last year. He didn't impress me one bit. And I want to believe that his performance last year was based off of three things. Number one, he's recovering from a torn ACL in the spring. That probably has a lot to do with it. Slowed down his development for sure. Number two, I'd like to believe he just didn't have a good quarterback. We all know DJ struggles, wasn't a great quarterback. Maybe that impacted Adam Randall. And then third, Brandon Streeter, not a great offensive coordinator. We definitely upgraded that position. So maybe those three things impacted Adam Randall. I just didn't see anything out of him last year. If he can become what Dabo thinks he is, the next great Clemson wide receiver, then we definitely have a shot to return to the playoffs. This spring will be a good indicator of whether he is that guy or whether he's just an average wide receiver. We need that guy. We need that big, tall, vertical threat. We've missed that over the last couple of years. That benefits the offense so much more. It opens it up. It allows the other guys to eat. Honestly, to me, Randall is the X factor of this offense. The talent's there. The athleticism's there. The size-speed combination, it's lethal. He's the guy I'm most excited about to look for this spring. I'm hoping for big things out of him. Huge impact on this offense moving forward. But that's all I have for this one. Comment on the video. I'm genuinely curious to see who you guys think are your most excited players for this spring. Also, give the video a thumbs up. It helps it get recommended to others. Also, most of my viewers aren't subscribed, so hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it really helps me out. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Go Tigers.